difficulties we have each week.
Yeah, do you know what? There was another one. No one could hear us. Now they can.
So we've just been talking.
We've been
to
talking
them.
to ourselves.
Oh, we were actually talking to you guys that whole time.
Yeah, we were. Sorry.
So that's embarrassing. Hey,
Vardy,
how
there's
you
a
going? Thanks.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, good.
Brilliant.
Tan's put up our logo on the TV up here.
Thanks, Vardy. Also, there's a big button that says go live, and every time I hit it, it just goes straight to send it out to YouTube and Facebook. It doesn't prompt me to change it, so I forget every week. So
We'll go back after and fix it. For now,
yeah,
we're just living an opening round.
yeah, wasn't that great? All right,
Let's get on with the show.
Oh my God, where's the air horn, Lauren?
Oh, sorry,
Guys, you
that
had
was
one
Sam's
job.
trying to fix
It's
Bozza's
actually
segment.
Sam's job.
Samuel?
I was trying to fix Bozza's.
How many air horns can we have?
Ben's headphones aren't plugged in. That's a good start.
Ben's in a
Ben,
bit of
can you do
strife
anything?
here.
Welcome to episode 113 of Here We Crow. It is debauchery here in
Seriously, he just sits there and does nothing when he gets
balcony
here.
of the
was typing
Torrens
away.
Arms.
Oh, his segment better be good.
This is you just ruined my intro. Sam.
Sorry.
And now you're going to give me shit about it, I'm sure. Worst intro ever. Yes, Ben, can I help you? Is there something else I can do for you?
Just if you can go that way.
Oh, mate, I've got to move my seat whilst giving the intro. This is intro at hard level.
When my headphones weren't plugged in, I had a lot of extra room because I didn't have to reach anywhere.
You guys are bringing the work meeting vibes to the podcast. Sorry, I was on mute.
It's a good call.
I love it.
And Ben's only just arrived.
Yeah.
What's ironic about that is my internet was down all day and I didn't actually get to do any proper work meetings. So this is nice. Welcome back, everybody. The Crows, obviously three wins straight now. It's amazing. We're all very excited. We've got heaps to talk about. It's funny because Sam always says that there's more to talk about when there's a loss, but we didn't have a loss, but we had a closer game, a bit of a more stressful game, and there's plenty to talk about, and we'll get into all of that. We've also got dog acts tonight, a couple of dog acts actually that have come out of that game.
Double dog act.
A couple of dog acts. We've got a new segment, which we've got.
Do we?
Yeah, it's SANFL rap with Sensible Crow.
Are you going to do a live intro?
Look, there's been talk about there being a SANFL rap, but we are going to have Nuz from Sensible Crow dial in, especially for that rap. He is our man on the ground with the Sandful. But before we get into any of that stuff, it's everyone's favourite, Ben and his quiz.
All right, so episode 113. So, debut player, I'm going to give you a clue and see how you go.
I'm not going to look. I mean, I'm not going to guess because I just
Wait,
looked
what
at
year are we, Ben?
Episode, year,
Yeah, well, sorry, debut player. What number?
113.
Also, what year are we in? 113. Okay, go for it.
He debuted in 2000, and the clue is plus-sized Patrick Swayze.
That's a dead giveaway.
I still don't know it.
Really?
No, I don't know either.
No.
Oh.
I thought it was an obvious clue.
Yeah.
Anyone in the chat getting it from
Where's
that?
Josh? He'd know.
Oh, sorry, I've lost the chat.
Wow.
Rhett Biglands.
Correct.
Kate got in there first.
Yeah.
You
Kate,
tell me that's not Patrick Swayze, right?
Kate
there.
knows about Patrick Swayze.
I don't know
I guess,
anything
yeah.
about
She
Patrick
sure
Swayze.
does.
Thanks, Kate and Vard.
Developed a great love of pottery.
He did. And the Unchained Melody. Continue.
All right. Anyway, so I thought
It's going well so
I
far.
thought they'd go over better than that, but
Well, it went down well
That's
with me,
fine.
Ben.
thanks,
Oh,
Dan.
are you going to go into what Rhett Biglands is doing now?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yep. Maybe not exactly what you know, but
let's
you fill
test
in the
it.
gaps.
Yeah,
so. Anyway, so he played 134 games between 2000 and 2008. He was actually on Port's inaugural list for 1 year. And then he came across to us. He finished, like it says, till 2008, but in the 2006 prelim, he did his knee, rehabbed in 07, and then needed another knee reco in 08 and then retired at that stage. So didn't quite finish off his career as he would have liked.
That's a bit sad.
But post-football. So I've got a couple of things. I reckon Lauren's got a bit more. The first thing I've got is that he married a Brazilian lady that he met at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil.
Wow. That is not on my list of Rhett Bigland
So
things
there
that
you
I
go.
know.
Was that on your page, or did you find that somewhere else?
I do extensive research for every
We know.
so. Anyway, I don't know if I need to divulge my sources. They had a child that was born in the USA, and he's opened a couple of Nike stores in Adelaide and at Marion.
The child.
Damn it, that's my fact.
Yeah, that's the only thing I knew too.
All right, and he's done a bit of work with Triple M in commentary and whatnot. I think he's still active with, is it Sandful sort of stuff now, or I'm not sure.
Don't ask me.
But yeah, so that's Rhett.
Oh, Vardy's sister-in-law is friends with Bigland's Brazilian wife. I can't say Brazilian.
There you go.
Bigland's Brazilian wife. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you parking lot has just said something about what I was just going to bring up about how many weeks would Pickett have got in this day and age for sniping Rhett Biglands in the 2005 finals. If anyone's seen that footage, that is a brutal hit, and I don't know what he got for it in the end, but probably nothing. Let's just imagine it was nothing, but it'd be about 40 weeks now.
There's a giant fly in here. What the hell's with this place in the flies?
Oh.
How do flies even get up here?
I don't know.
All right.
I'd guess they flew. So
Do you have a badum-tish sound there?
I don't. I need one.
Where's that?
2013 season. Do we remember anything of that?
No.
All right. Where did we finish?
7th.
11th.
12th.
He was 11th.
Hey.
It's pretty close.
Hands on it again. So 10 wins, 12 losses. Club champ.
Rhett Bigland.
Seeing as he retired in 2008, that would be hard.
Wait, what year?
You just told me that.
2011.
Scott Thompson.
2013. So
13. All right. Damn it. That's why I got them all wrong.
Scott Thompson?
no,
Rory Sloane.
it was Rory Sloane.
Well done.
Well done,
There
Vardy.
you go. There you go. Leading goal kicker.
Tex.
No, it's someone who hadn't won it previously.
John Cock.
Someone that I think at some stage might have kicked 10 goals against a certain
Oh,
team.
Tom Lynch.
That's right.
T-shirt,
Wow.
Tommy.
10-goal Tommy.
So if this was the same year, he ended up with 33 goals. So he didn't do
Wow.
a great deal for the rest of the games. But
No.
so there you go, 33 goals, 20. Interesting to me facts. So this year, Dean Bailey got banned for coaching for 16 weeks due to Melbourne tanking issues. So,
Yeah, that was great, wasn't
so
it?
a nice way to punish the Crows for a
Yeah.
Melbourne issue.
It was so stupid.
That was good. And also showed how a senior coach without a appropriate, solid senior assistant can really flounder and go poorly, because that's what happened to Brent Sanderson. And I think we can see now that there's a bit more structure behind Nick's, that maybe that's going to help him a lot in terms of developing the whole club and not having to rely so much on it, just his own thoughts. So hopefully we've got the structure right now with Murray Davis coming in, and onwards and upwards.
Feels good. Feels good.
This year as well was the year that Tex did his knee.
Thought it might have been.
That was pretty sad.
Is that against Carlton?
Sad days.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
MCG?
Yeah.
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 So that was
But look at him now.
yes. His longevity is quite something compared to what you would have thought. He looked gone for a lot of his career, and he's just really a big resurgence. So because we're getting close to the current team, I just thought I'd go through, start putting in who we picked up in the draft in these years. So
Good call.
this year we got Matt Crouch with pick 23, Riley Knight with 46,
Boogie.
Kyle Hardigan, sort of, but that was he was a rookie the year before, and Rory Laird was elevated
Nice.
from being a rookie this year as well. So there you go.
Fair.
Wow,
And
that's come full circle
It
there
has-
for Laird,
it
isn't
has,
it?
it has, and then someone who hasn't circled because he left us, but Charlie Cameron got rookied for us this year. So
Miss you, mate. Miss you,
so
mate.
there you go. So that's the new, and who knows if it's improved segment for me.
Very good, Ben.
Mildly better?
We'll decide. We'll decide.
Got off to a rough start. But
It was a bit longer than Lauren's one that she did that time, but well received nonetheless.
Yeah.
thanks,
you.
Dan.
Yeah.
Great. Also, welcome, Sam.
Oh, hello, Ben.
Hi, Sam.
What's his name?
Thanks. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi.
Did you not
And-
welcome us?
No, I just
Oh, I
realised.
didn't even notice.
Halfway through
It
Ben's
was all your
segment.
fault.
It was. Yeah,
But should we
sorry.
get into chatting about the game? Should we get straight
Yeah,
into
let's
it?
get into
Why not?
Lauren was our pod member on
Man
the
on
ground.
the ground.
No,
Yeah.
pod member. I
Was
wasn't
deserted
going to call her
by
a
the
man.
team.
so- Tell us, what was the vibe like?
Look, it was good vibes. I think it was one of those. There was a lot of people there for a late Sunday afternoon game.
Yeah, it was.
46,000 people. So the fans are back. Let's just say the fans are back. They're back on board.
That's a bit annoying, though, isn't it?
Look, I actually had this conversation with Matt this week.
Mm.
He did ask me how I felt about fair weather fans coming back to the Crows after slogging it out the last, since 2017, basically. We've been slogging it out watching this shit. But I said, hey, more power to him.
Yeah.
I get it because it's really hard
Yeah.
to put yourself through what we've just done,
Yeah.
which was horrible.
It was.
But at the end of the day, they're not going to feel the joy like we feel it,
No.
are they?
No, because
They're-
they just jump back on.
They've just jumped back on board at a good time.
Yeah.
Convenient time. So you're not feeling it in your soul like we are. So whatever. More power to you. We need the voices out there. We need the crowd. So that's fine. Come back.
Yeah.
I think the big question is, did Saxophone Man play the same song, different song?
He played the same song.
Oh, he was there again.
I think he will be playing the same song. The only
Different
difference was
location.
he was in a different location. So he's
okay.
actually going to be popping up all around the oval.
Where did they choose second time around?
He was in the fancy ass level 2 on our side where we sit
So do you
in
think
the Western Stand.
Saxophone Man, it all went very well for himself, and now he's just going to stay in that really
I
fancy
think he might.
zone? Or?
Yeah, I think he might.
Is
He's got
he-
the corporate box.
Imagine him just like pulling up next to Nixie one game. Like,
I don't know. Like he might. I was actually like scoping the top of the scoreboard. I thought he might be all the way up there.
he needs to just bust out Careless Whisper though. He can't just stay on.
Well,
you know,
I
that-
think I think the song is chosen. Unfortunately, Sandy. I was
he
sitting
needs
with
the
Sandy, our friend of the pod, Sandy, for a little bit, and he actually brought up why doesn't he do Baker Street by
Yes.
Joe Rafferty, and I was like, that's a good one too. There's,
Well done,
there's
Sandy.
plenty of sax songs that he can do.
Ultimate sax guy, just on repeat for like
Yeah.
3 hours.
Yeah.
I liked it, and Metallica was still there. Sandstorm still happened, so that's
Nice.
the pre-game. No, he was playing live, Vardy. He wasn't doing a Richie Cunningham. Come on.
I did wonder that, actually.
No, he's definitely playing live.
Yeah.
He's very good. But yeah, look, crowd was good. Game. I mean, it's weird when you go on your own. I think we were just talking about this before because I was just there on my own. I was sitting with Sandy for a bit, but I feel like I can't be as animated as I normally am at games. And if you've ever attended a game with me, you know that I like yelling names of the players, just randomly.
Yes.
Show!
No,
Show!
I
Surely!
yeah, go Charlie. But no, it was a good game. There was a couple of moments there where I was a bit like, oh, fuck. Like, here we go. They've kicked a couple on us. They got gifted a few right in front of goal. And I was slightly nervous. Like, I was like, oh, no. Like, here we go. But, we just, as Matty Nick said in the press conference, we did grind it out and, we took away the win. What are your comments? You guys saw more than me because you were obviously watching on television.
I just remembered, sorry, just to segue off of this onto the chat, but Kate just mentioned that confirming 100% that it's live from Matt the Saxman.
Oh, thank you.
Now, because Kate's friend of the pod, Kate, she's also friend of Saxman apparently. Maybe we
Yeah.
can get
We might
Saxman
be able to get him on here.
or to at least record us a stinger that we can play.
Maybe we can get him to do as a Baker Street solo.
Hit him up, Kate.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe,
This is-
or when you get your meditation segment on at some point, you can get him to do a song for your stinger.
Oh, wait, I've got
Yes.
a great idea actually. I don't know if I should say it now
Say it.
No, do
or
it.
if I should tell you guys later.
Well, you brought it up now.
We've got episode 119 coming up. What if we got Saxman to do the sax solo from Never Tear Us Apart for the special occasion at the precinct?
Yeah, at the precinct.
At the precinct. We'll just roll into the precinct with our gear and just be like, we're recording here tonight, guys. It's episode 119. Clear the way.
I mean, it is a great solo.
Yeah.
I don't think, do they play it at the game? They do, but that's not part of it really. Is it?
No, not really. No, not the sax
That's
bit,
the
I don't
end of
think.
it.
Yeah.
All right. Hit
Anyway.
us,
Bit too
Kate.
cultured for them.
Back to the game. Watching it on TV, I was pretty stressed. Won't lie, but I didn't think I did feel like we were going to win it somehow, and the margin, which I discussed with Ben, having not been on the pod last week, Ben asked me on Saturday night how much I thought we were going to win by, and I said 36 points or 6 goals. Sorry. And he said, I said 36 on the pod. And I hadn't listened to the pod. I just watched a bit of it on the tarmac before I flew out, and that was it. So I think Ben's kind of claiming it, but I also feel like I was there.
I'm pretty sure I said 6 goals
I
too.
was recorded. Sam was definitely recorded as not being 6 goals.
I definitely said 6 goals, Ben.
What
I
did
think
Sam
if
say?
you have a look back.
He was about 18 points or something.
I don't think so.
Well, I can't vouch
Ben's
for
misremembering there.
either.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mr. Remember. But no, it was quite stressful. There's like heaps to talk about, I think, in terms of players and whatnot. I think the good thing, in the past we would have maybe struggled when like North Melbourne got that momentum and they got within like 9 points or
8 points, I
8
reckon,
points
yeah.
at one stage. They had a fair bit of momentum. They got some good midfielders that really got on top of us, and they have a really good. I think they've got Larky's obviously pretty great, and Jack Darling is pinch hitting a little bit in there, which helps. He's always done pretty well against us. I don't think he had the best game, but
Paul Curtis is annoying.
Paul Curtis is annoying, but he's pretty good. Zerhawi kept pretty quiet, but he's generally pretty good. Like, they're not that bad. Like, they've got a pretty good list, and they're definitely better than the first 2 teams we played. So you take a 6-goal win, happy with that we're rolling on. But then I think there's some things to talk about in the lead up to Suns this week and Geelong the week after. Some things that we need to fix up to do well.
Vardy's just said we were sloppy in the first quarter, but I think we were actually pretty sloppy most of the game. In
Disposal efficiencies across the board are pretty poor.
In respect to how we've played the last couple of weeks, we obviously weren't allowed to play our game as much as we have been.
Yeah.
But our hitting targets wasn't the best. Dawson was quite off with that. Miller was very off with that this game. There was some howler calls that, obviously they got gifted like, 3 frees in front of goal that ended up they got a goal out of it. Bit of sniping, bit of it was a bit of a grubby game on like watching the replay back, although I haven't seen much of that.
Was it particularly windy at the game, or
There was it seemed breezy, like not like super windy. I think it probably picked up a little bit later.
because there was a part in the game where everyone was just kicking it out of bounds on the full off to
Yeah,
that
especially
eastern
on the outer
side.
side.
Even Dawson.
Well, I was looking, and the flags behind the scoreboard were going north, so it seemed like the breeze was going straight across, front to back of the oval.
Yeah.
But I'm no Keith Martin, so I don't know.
What about Xavier Minicon?
No, he's way too cool.
Yeah.
There was a couple of things that I think made me realise that we're still a work in progress more than the first 2 weeks where it was just total domination. I think there was a lot of times where North's midfield really did look quite sharp.
Yeah.
Like they always had that spare man off the back of the pack that they got it to him really quite well a lot of the game, which gave them really easy passage out. And I just think they just weren't good enough to make it count. But I think I said to Ben before the pod, I think that team with that structure, I think a better team with that structure against us on the weekend would have really properly challenged us.
Yeah.
So that's something to sort of work towards, I think. It was definitely more of a challenge this week than it has been in those previous 2.
And I think it's not going to get easier sort of with those next couple of games in particular, or probably next 3, where you're coming up against pretty comparable midfields.
Gold Coast is starting to look quite formidable, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, you'd definitely say Gold Coast, Geelong and GWS have better midfields than North, but North is pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? And they pretty much, they took it up to us, quite a bit.
I feel like North's midfield are a good midfield who will be great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I thought we did a pretty good job of nullifying a couple of their bigger possession players. Like Powell was quiet compared to what he had been at the start of the year. Sheasel didn't do much until we
You wouldn't have
sort
even
of-
known
that's
he was
true.
there.
Yeah, she's
until the last quarter he got a few, but he was we kept him pretty quiet. It was more the damaging player for them, I thought, was more like a McKercher or someone with
McKercher and LDU,
LDU.
pretty good.
What about
we
on
gave LDU way too much space, I thought,
Yeah,
for a lot
and-
of that game.
And I think Nuz talked about it on our chat about Matt Crouch, because I was saying, Matt Crouch had a pretty quiet game up to half time, and he said he struggles against LDU, which I thought was really interesting. Obviously, Crouch and Dawson, who both absolutely, they came out all guns blazing the first 2 rounds, both had sort of off games. Why do we think that was, and who was on them?
Dawson had his strapping on his calf.
Yeah.
So
Did you hear the rumor about that? They put
No.
the Warnie, obviously the worst type of Warnie from the fantasy chat.
Yeah, thanks for clarifying which warning.
Yeah, sorry. He apparently got a little bit of inside source, whether this is true or not, that he got a tattoo and it was hurting.
Oh, well, yeah, that could be true.
all right.
So which is, if it is, it's probably a good thing.
Well,
Bit
let's-
weird, but
let's-
it's a good
let's
thing.
hope he keeps any more tattoos to the end of the season.
Yeah.
because
Hopefully
it
it's not
did
infected.
nothing for his game.
yeah.
Yeah. So I thought that was weird.
But yeah, Dawson and Crouch, both of those bit of struggle. I mean,
I was ready to sack Walker in the first quarter too. He was
Yeah, you were
super
like
fumbly.
sub him off.
He did like 2 or 3. He messed it up a couple of times and then gave away a free kick. 50
He seemed like he was
potentially.
playing a bit lax.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't really like taking the care that
Yeah.
he should have been taking, but well, he made up for it.
Oh, absolutely,
In the end, didn't he?
Yeah, he was a beast for the rest of the
Yeah.
game. He just was really scratchy in that first quarter.
Giving Kane too much material in that
Yeah,
first
yeah,
quarter.
that's-
but
he was.
I did notice Kane didn't have much to say
Nah.
this morning
No.
about it.
No.
Also, just wanted to talk a little bit about Mark Keane. I don't know. I think for me, just personally, he gave me the shits a bit in that game. I know he's just got 10K for tripping as well, but some of he just needs to play footy. He gets way too drawn into all the bullshit, like the theatrics and sort of flopping and all of that. It's always him flopping and arguing with the umpire and that. I just want him to play. He can play. He's a good player.
Yeah.
But that stuff, we don't need, like, we're not that kind of team. I don't know. It just feels...
Yeah, he is an annoying. He can be very annoying. And you see him off when we
As a fan, though, like I'm like, come on, mate, just get on with it.
Well, you always see him reacting to things after we've got the play or we've got a 50 or a free kick or
We've
something,
moved on.
and you always see him do something, and you're just like, do not reverse this. If you reverse this,
And
you
he
need to
seemed
be
like
dragged.
I always have a bit of my heart in my throat when he's kicking out as well. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
where's this going to go? And obviously he made a couple of blues in that first game, or he slipped over and stuff. But or not in the Essendon game. Sorry.
Does Ben have anything before we talk about individual players?
Yeah, a little bit. So I think it was evident that just the pressure that was a little bit higher. With a couple of times we got caught holding the ball where in previous weeks we probably would have had plenty of time to get a possession out. But like the one where Neil Bullen, I think he got caught from behind.
Yeah.
If he'd known he was under that much pressure, he had plenty of time to get rid of the ball before then. And the thing that I was probably felt uncomfortable with during the game was we were back to being a bit susceptible to a Charlie Comben defensive interceptor having a role against us.
Is that Congdon? I don't know. Us, Rashudo, he said it about 15 different times during the podcast.
It's a
It was good.
combination of the two.
I think it's Charlie Comben.
Congan? Oh, yep.
Coman.
So Clong Clong went with 10 intercept possessions and 7 marks. So we weren't able to sort of just bypass their main interceptor. I mean, they went undersized with their backs on our forwards just so that they could get that defensive interceptor. So it worked, which is a bit of a worry.
Yeah, it was a different type of game than the first 2 weeks. You could just see that just from the panic around the body kicks as well. There was a lot more of them this week. Obviously, don't know if I find a stat on round the body kicks, but there was just a lot more times where we seemed to get ourselves into problems, and that was the bailout. Whereas that just didn't happen in the first 2 weeks.
Oh, and I mean, we lost some stats that we were smashing teams in the first 2 rounds. So we had slightly less disposal, 354 to 364. Their disposal efficiency was higher than ours, 77 to 72%. And marks, we've been killing people with marks, and we just lost at 95 to 100. So
Yeah, right.
they certainly matched us in ways that we were belting teams in the past.
They definitely made the game slow down a lot, didn't they?
I think that might be why their efficiency's up and their marks are up, because I think partly they slowed the game down, but give us some credit. We probably didn't let them move the ball quickly. I'm sure
Yeah.
they would have liked to get to their forward line a lot quicker than they did, and we didn't let them. So I think as much as we're like, oh, geez, there was some cracks showing, I think we should give ourselves some credit that we still did get a 36-point win.
Yep.
Last year, geez, if we got a 36-point win, we wouldn't be calling that a close game.
No,
Yeah.
we'd be laughing.
We'd be like, geez, that was a good smashing. That was the smashing we needed to have finally. So,
And the other
Yeah.
thing is too, like we obviously lost Rochelle quite early on in
Yeah.
the piece. That's like 3 goals right there that he could have kicked that we didn't get. And I know Sid ended up kicking a couple, which there's a lot of comments in here talking about Sid, and we will talk about Sid. Don't worry, people. But yeah, I think like pretty solid. Like, you know, they're very happy with how it all planned. Like it went to plan according to them. So we
And-
just got to hope it goes to plan this week.
And stats-wise, we still had some really key wins. Like our efficiency inside 50, we're scoring 58% of the time. They managed it 34% of the time. So even though we got a bit intercepted and we didn't have it all our way, we were still really potent when we went forward.
Yeah.
So it's still a really big positive. And we won marks on inside 50, 12-9, and even tackles inside 50 for such a tall forward line, we won 13-7. So I think we still did a lot right. I think
Yeah.
I still think we'll have bigger challenges coming our way, but I think we still dealt with it okay.
Well said, Ben. Do you want to talk about some players, Lauren?
Oh, well, I think there's a few names we can drop. Let's start with Sid Draper, seeing as he's in the comments at the moment. Came on a bit earlier than he has in the last couple of games, which, you know, obviously losing Rush to broken ribs isn't fantastic at all, but having Sid, you know, being able to come on and play a bit more game time was fantastic. And, geez, that first goal he kicked, how good was that? That just shows you exactly the kind of player he's going to be. Just got those jets on, you know, checked behind him, could see where he was at, levelled out, managed to kick it.
It's a pretty good first goal, really, isn't it?
Really
To
good.
take it at 50 and just burn someone off. And with that, that clever change of direction to make sure you did get run down.
And I was like, we were, you know, I
You
could
would
tell
have had a good
it was
spot to
quite
watch
tense.
that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it was quite tense. Like watching him run on, I was like, oh Jesus, here we go. Like he's going to get the rundown tackle, but no, he got away with it, and it was great. Bean Juice Bagel says his song goal celebration song can get in the bin. What an absolute buzzkill! I think
that-
it's like can't take my eyes off you or something like that.
What I will say, I think sometimes those songs are a victim of the people putting them on not knowing the spot of the song to put on.
Yeah, it's a
Like if you
little
put
bit
on the like horn bit, like da da da
Yeah.
da, it's going to be great. But they put on like the slow bit.
Yeah,
It's like,
I
yeah,
don't know if
absolutely.
that's a copyright thing or something or some sort of.
It would just be
royalty
someone
thing.
having no idea which part of
Yeah.
the song's put on, I reckon.
The other young and I want to call out is Dan Curtin. Thought he had he just took the game to another level this week, I thought.
Yeah.
Just really, again, agile, took some great clunking marks, got a couple of goals, just found himself in really good positions. And yeah, I thought he was fantastic.
He's got- yeah.
So such a big guy, just his chase down tackling as well.
Yeah.
It's just quite
Huge.
something.
He's getting a bit of attention now through the media and the commentators and all that. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully he keeps building.
Yeah. And, you know, they have described him as like the Mr. Fix-It today in the
Yeah.
advertiser, which is exactly what we were calling Dawson, like not, you know, mere months ago. So, you know, we basically got the second coming of Dawson, which is like amazing.
Yeah.
Jack Saligo, obviously another massive game from Solly. Thought he played really well. I'm sure he'll come up in the votes. Did want to mention James Peatling as well. Thought that was definitely his best game for
Yeah.
us. He's just so evasive. And again, like that, another player who knows where to find the space and can just like weave through the traffic and was really impressive. He's
cool
just
to
like
see.
he's like the Nick Blakey of like the Crows. I think he's like got that lizard-esque type of like run through. Tex obviously huge. Two that I did want to chuck in special mentions for were Mitch Hinge and Max Michaelani.
Hinge was good.
Hinge was fantastic. I think he like probably the second half he really turned it on, and yeah, he just was everywhere. He was fantastic, and I thought Max, especially in the first half, really strong, really courageous, like not scared of the contest at all. Yeah, it was just classic Max game.
He just very
Loved
rarely
it.
does anything wrong.
No, he was very good. He took a really like couple of really good intercept marks where I thought, oh, he's not getting this at all, and he just managed to smash through the pack and grab him. So
Nice.
yeah, it was good.
Should we get into some votes?
Let's do it.
What have you got, Lauren?
I got 3 for Jake Saligo. Just thought he was pretty influential in the midfield and had a lot of the ball there. I gave 2 to Laird. 250 games. He had 30 disposals.
Oh, we can't be doing this. This is pathetic.
Nah, not just because he was 250. He was very good. He was very good in defence. He had got a lot of the ball and he was moving it out.
First half, he was close to best on ground. He had quite a big influence.
He did. He was good.
I don't agree, Ben.
Well, you can. This is my vote, it's not yours.
You can still disagree and be wrong at the same time.
And I gave only one to Isaac Rankin, who was, again, like Saligo, one of the more influential midfielders of the day.
What do you have, Sam?
I was quite different to Lauren. I gave 3 to Rankin. I know he was a bit wasteful, but he just had so much of it and set up so much through the day that I just couldn't find someone better than him.
That inside out little pass he did to Thilthorpe was just, it's like, that's pretty
beautiful.
fancy.
Yeah, we are so lucky to have him in the side and just be able to play him, forward and mid. I gave 2 to Thilthorpe. I just thought he was just big throughout the day, did a lot, and I gave 1 to Tex.
Nice. Forward heavy there.
Yeah,
Like it. Ben?
So like Lauren, I did Saligo as 3 votes, just his drive out of the middle, and he hit the scoreboard again. So is that every game so far he's kicked a goal? So that'd be pretty handy if he keeps that up. 2, I did go to Rankin. 30 possessions and pretty classy, and Thilthorpe. So I'm a bit of a hybrid between you two.
Well, I think it shows how good the team is this year that we're all gone a bit different. I went a bit more left field this time. I actually thought Hinge's game was awesome. I put him for 3 votes. I know it wasn't, the big possession game that some of the other guys had, but I just thought he did some really important things throughout. I went for 2 for Solly for the reasons everyone has said who voted for him. And I actually went 1 for Peatling. Absolutely best game he's played for us so far, and just the score involvements I thought were really good.
nice.
Did we have Nuz this week or no Nuz?
Did he send through? I don't know if he did. He might have sent some Sandful votes.
Maybe he can throw us his votes when he calls in.
Yeah, all right, I can do that.
Hi, I'm Tyson Edwards.
You're such a quiet achiever.
I'm going to throw to Ben. Who did you have?
Just for apparently Sam's going to criticise it as a stupid decision, but I'm going to go with Laird.
Soft.
32 possessions.
Pandering.
No,
Just getting caught up in the day.
Quiet for you because you didn't notice it.
32 possessions it was.
Getting very caught up in the day, Ben. It's not like you.
20 of those were handballs, and he only had the 100 metres gained, but he still plays a role. So
No, he was good.
Yeah.
We love you, Laddie. Congrats on your 250.
I like that Laddie's just sucked it up and just got the job done this year so far. It's been really good.
Yeah, it is.
He's like, I reckon he's coming across as like he's so positive.
Yeah.
And he's like, he seems really happy.
Yeah,
he does.
Strange.
He doesn't give you a
Makes
lot.
me uncomfortable.
He doesn't emote a lot, but I've seen Rory Laird smile heaps
Yeah,
in
it's
the
weird.
last couple of weeks.
Yeah, what's going on? Sam, you got right of reply to Ben. Who did you have?
Mine's a bit of a 4th vote. Softy. I gave it to Curtin.
Yeah. Well, can't argue because I did too.
So did I.
Can you, I know this is a bit sort of not unplanned, but can you just hit the dog act button? Because I reckon I'm just going to chuck those in because they're topical to the game.
Sure.
Sure, if I can find it.
Dog act. All right, I've got a double dog act for you guys. This first one is all about. Oh, hang on a second.
Do it. Sorry, dude.
Oh my god.
Jan, have you fed the dog? Jazz wants to know.
Yeah, I have.
Yes, Jazz.
How did she know how to get into the chat? Awkward. I told her that I fed the dog. Anyway, this is it's topical, right? It's the dog act segment. That's good timing. All right, so we're talking about Mitch Hinge first and that 50-metre penalty that got paid against him.
Shit.
What was that?
I'm sorry, but you can't just all of a sudden decide that 15 metres isn't 15 metres.
Can we just talk about that? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
Well,
you
that's
off.
why we brought
I
it
was going
up.
to say, like, no one knows what 15 metres is anymore. You don't blow the whistle for a mark until he gets there and gets the tackle on, and then you ping him? That is not fair.
I feel like they're doing it for like just entertainment reasons now. Like the 15-meter decision is so dumb. Like it just doesn't make any sense. And then there's no consistency with it at all.
It's just, well, even the players are second guessing it now.
Yeah.
Like, if the players don't know what 15 metres is, who the fuck does?
Well, I like it how the commentators were discussing whether it was a 50-meter penalty or not, and not discussing the fact that it wasn't 15 metres.
That was a Gerard Healy special there, wasn't it? Oh, yep, he clearly infringed on the mark there.
That's right. Well, he did, but he thought it wasn't 15, which it wasn't.
No.
Yeah.
So, and
he's allowed to, I think, as long as he says it's a mark and then says stand, like why is that? Why is it 50?
The umpire just needs to have feel for the game.
normally the umpire would go back 1 metre, please. It was straight to the goal square. No
Jared
worries.
Healy with
They
his
were dog
typical
shit.
Crows hating agenda. All right.
Umpires were absolute dog shit this game.
That's one of the dog acts for this week. Hit the button again, Sam. Thank you. If you're gonna ping Hinge when he didn't even infringe, maybe you're just a stinge. Dog act. Hinge, infringe, stinge. All right.
Yeah, that works.
Yes, and the second one is about Josh Rochelle getting crunched in that bump from Tristan Sherry and having what we found out now is fractured ribs and out for 4 to 6 weeks. But the commentators and the live broadcast happened to say that he's just been winded. Why are they holding up play? He's just been winded. This is ridiculous. Why is he still on the field? Get him off.
I think the word farcical was used at one point.
Farcical?
Yeah. Nick Rewalt went hard on it as well. It's like, mate, do you have a short memory? Like, remember what happened to Christian Petrarca like only last year?
Yeah.
Guy was in ICU, nearly died. So maybe who cares if we're stopping the game for a few more seconds?
Maybe those guys just wanted to get back to the pub for a pint after the game, or worried about their Maltese or something. Who knows? Anyway, that's the second dog act for this week. Was it time wasted winded when... Oh, shit. I didn't practice this one. Said it was time wasted winded when Rash had broken ribs, you Channel 7 squibs. Dog act. Oh, that was close.
Very good.
Yes, that's dog act for this week. I
Well
think
done,
you can
Dan.
all agree there were 2 dog acts.
Yes, there was.
What's next?
Well, we got Tom. Should we just do that now?
Yeah, let's
I've
get-
told
Yeah,
Tom
get-
to come a little bit earlier than we probably do need to in the future, but I reckon we just jump into it.
Oh, let's
Okay.
get Tom on the line.
We can jump into it. Tom is obviously our Gold Coast Suns Nuffy, and we got dog Seamless broadcasting as always.
So was it round 23 we were getting this also?
All right,
think-
following round 1 with Alex Leahy, we had
Oh, what the hell is going on
round
now?
two,
Samuel.
which is obviously a hard act to
You're-
follow.
Oh, this
So
is
cut-
nice.
Reception style. So excited, Tom. We're just sorting out shit.
Welcome back,
change.
Tom.
All
Oh, it's
right,
changed
following
again.
round 1 with Alex
Wow.
Leahy, we had
What
Dean
is
from
happening?
Mount Barker in
I have
round
no
2,
idea.
which is obviously a
Pause.
hard act to follow.
I'm
So we've
getting
cast
in
the net
there.
a bit wider this week in our search for a reputable North Melbourne Nuffy. Tonight's guest could be described as the songbird of a generation, but for purposes of this segment, he's the epitome of a shin boner. I was lucky enough to have a kick-to-kick with this guy before an Adelaide Community Cup game, where I found out he's also
is a replay.
an Sturt supporter. But it's
Tom.
probably
What's
worth
going on?
mentioning.
What
he's
is-
also
I
an
have no
actor,
idea what's going
writer,
on.
Has stacks of musical projects, including the Tex Perkins and the Hard-Ons and
All right,
many
hang
others.
on. Nah, hang on. I'm just doing this.
Can we just talk to Tom?
Yeah, we're just we're doing this. Tom, can you actually hear us?
Yeah. I was actually just reading your message saying we're dropping our game a bit this season. Should be fairly easy. So
Tom's heard it all.
Oh, that is actually true. I did say that to Tom earlier today. Don't worry, Tom. It's we're all good.
All right,
So
Tom.
did you find that helpful, just getting a bit of a picture of how to talk from the previous 2 numbers that we've had already?
This is how we write our material here at Here We Crow. Obviously, we got the Suns this week. It's going to be a huge test for the Crows, and we've got our comeback special from Tom Keough, who was actually on the Suns list once upon a time. He is a big Suns Nuffy, and it's great to have him back on. Hey, Tom, how you going?
I'm well, thank you. Yeah, good to actually be on when we're in a bit of form for once, which is nice. And a top 4 clash. Can't believe I'm saying it this week between the Suns and and the Crows, so it should be good.
Well,
Crazy, isn't it?
you know what? I know you probably already know this, but for anyone who doesn't, the Suns have actually been pretty good against the Crows in the recent years. They've won 4 out of the last 6 after us winning 13 of the first 13. So they're back in form against the Crows, the Suns, and all of those wins have come at or over in the Gold Coast, either at Metricon or otherwise. So
Too sweaty up there. We don't like it.
yeah. 4 in a row at Metricon, so I'm not feeling overly confident coming up against you guys there this week.
So it was one of those wins in that part of the Gold Coast called Darwin, is that right?
Yeah, might have been. Thanks for pointing out my lack of research, Ben. Yeah, it might have been. Was that during COVID times or something? Let's say it was.
Yeah.
All right. So obviously a lot to be excited about, Tom, with that Gold Coast team at the moment. Obviously, Matty Rao is dominating so far this year. What have you seen and what have you liked so far?
Yeah, you're right. Also, we don't count those first 10 wins because the first 10 years of the Suns are just a write-off. So we're a formation club still, so we can ignore that. No, it's been good. It's actually been really exciting to watch. I know that we missed round 0, the opening round, which is ridiculous anyway, but I would have counted that as chalk that up as a win against the Bombers. So we should be 3-0. But it's actually been exciting to see a bit more of a balance across the team this year. I mean, Anderson's having a fantastic year. Rao's having a fantastic year in the first couple of games. Sort of not seeing the big, heavy reliance upon the same ball users every time. So I think it's actually been a little bit harder to shut down some of our players. Now we've got Noble, Rioli. They're playing an exciting brand. I wouldn't say it's bulletproof, but it's definitely starting to see the Damien Hardwick ideas coming through because it's pretty exciting. We get the ball on pretty quick. Some nice ball users across half back now as well. So, I've been really enjoying watching, of course, at ridiculous times, Sunday at like 9 p.m. and Saturday at 12 a.m. or something. It's ridiculous the times slots we get. But it's been enjoyable watching.
So,
And-
you go.
I was just going to say, Sam Collins is being talked up as the best fullback in the comp as well. How have you seen his game so far?
Yeah, he missed. I think he missed the first game against the West Coast, but it was back in on the weekend. And obviously Charlie Ballard, SA boy as well, unfortunately doing his knee in round 1 in a pretty innocuous incident. So we lost him as our sort of young centre back. So to have Sammy Collins come back in, and I reckon he took 3, 4, 5 inset marks in the first half, I reckon, against the D's on the weekend. So not only is he an absolute machine, he should be a great matchup against Thilthorpe, actually. Both big lumberjack-looking blokes going at it. Should be pretty good watching. So, he's really good for us back there, and obviously a leader as well. So, handy for us.
Definitely
Very handy.
a couple of good beards from guys that didn't start on the scene with big beards. They're looking pretty good these days. Samuel, speaking of people with beards.
You brought him up before, Tom, but Noble and Rioli look like massive additions to the side. Just almost a bit like what we've done with a couple of players that were, I guess you wouldn't say that Rioli was fringe, but certainly Noble at Collingwood, and just seem to have had a massive impact at their new clubs. How have you seen them so far this year? Are they just slotted in and just performing like you'd expect?
Yeah, I think it's that change. Obviously I'm on here as a nuffy, and that's exactly all I am. But sort of externally, just sort of not have the confidence to play. Probably, it's a bit stiff on Stewie Dew getting sort of, I suppose, flicked before much opportunity to really show we could do as a coach. And after some not really bad seasons, but seeing Hardwick come in and now bring in a few experienced players like Noble and Rioli who just run and carry the ball. They're obviously experienced and play at clubs in big games and on big grounds, and I think that's sort of topped up the young list that we have. And I think Hardwick was probably that breath of fresh air that we sort of needed to go, here's someone that's done this before, and obviously won the highest stage. So a bit of belief in the group and adding a few experienced players has definitely helped things as well.
You've brought up someone else who I had next on my list, which was Damien Hardwick. He's obviously a year and a bit in now. What are you feeling? You feeling confident that he can take you where you need to be?
Oh, the dynasty. Yeah, of course. How could you not? It's we're on. Flag Suns. Yes, I think Gio, like I said, I mean, it's all external views here, and obviously support them and want them to do well. And when your club sort of gets rid of a coach that's probably steadily improved our performance over a few years, it's a big call to make, and you're only going to do that for a coach like Damien Hardwick that comes available. So, I mean, he was tired of coaching in wherever it was, 23, 24, whatever it was, and then all of a sudden, 12 months later, quick trip to Italy, and our CEO goes over and meets him over there, and obviously did some wonders and then got him in. So I think it was that next step, and he had a pretty nice, inspiring best and fairest chat at the end of the season that sort of drew a line in the sand a bit. And I think, so far so good. I mean, it's only round 2, and I'm talking about at least finishing top 8 would be nice. But I think we dare to dream as Suns fans. It's sort of about time, what 14 years, 15 years, what have we been around for now? It's sort of time to get into it and try and play some finals. But I think he's that little bit of belief that the group's been missing.
I don't know. I think you should dim it down a bit.
I was going to ask, how many rounds until everyone starts hating the Suns instead of just hoping that they win a few games?
Yeah, it doesn't take long, does it?
No.
It'll be everyone's second favourite team.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I've been sort of wanting the Suns to go well. Maybe until Dimmer went there. I was sort of hoping that
Hardwick didn't help things at all.
No, not really.
We wanted to see Stewie Drew get some success.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
But Tom, we had a question from Corey in the chat. He just asked if you got the opportunity to play with Isaac at both Westies and Gold Coast.
I did, not Gold Coast. I only was up there for quick. So I played with Isaac. I came back I was away 2016, so came back in 2017. And he actually debuted as a 16-year-old playing league at West Adelaide in the year I was away. So I came back and sort of, obviously I spent some time with him in the under 13s and 14s coming through West Adelaide, and I was one of the coaches sort of coming through, and he's extremely talented, as you see now. But I got back and I had a bit of a groin injury, and the first training, I think he went to sort of, step me, and I just didn't even try. So supremely talented. I think one day we were playing North Adelaide, and I was down by a few goals, and their crowd's giving it to us on the Robin Hill, and I think he's had 24 touches, 4 goals, 2. He's bananaed one from the boundary and just given it to the stands. He's 17 years old, and he's just a star. It just makes you realise why you love football, and watching him play as a junior is as exciting as it is now. He's amazing.
Love
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. One other, Dan, you put me way off then. What were you saying?
I was just saying, press the Armfield button.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that. I just had one more question.
Seamless.
You guys have obviously played West Coast and
Melbourne.
what looked like a very poor quality Melbourne side. Are
Terrible.
you a skeptical? Yeah, I guess as Crows fans, we're sort of feeling a bit the same as well, having played St Kilda, Essendon, and North Melbourne. So, is that still in the back of your mind that you haven't maybe come up against the top quality sides yet?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our midfield's been on fire at the moment. Anderson's averaging low 30s, clearance king at the moment. But I think when that pressure goes up as well, I think some of the ball movement against Melbourne and even obviously West Coast are still pretty young and developing. I think once we actually feel a bit of pressure, a bit of heat, it did make me happy watching North Melbourne kept clawing it back on yesterday. I was watching the game and sort of saw Crows under a bit more pressure, but I think it should be a bit of a shootout, I reckon, between Crows and Suns this week. So it is definitely a bit sceptical. Or wait until we sort of play some of the more experienced teams, and when a midfield maybe gets on top of us, we might be able to see how we go then, I think.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, you should remember this from last year, but we just got a little stinger.
Give the kick to Dennis. So we're right behind him, and the Carlton fans are right behind him. Once, twice, 3 times.
Oh, look at that.
Yes! He's the master blaster.
Yes. You know what it is? It's the Dennis Armfield Award, the player most likely to torch the Crows out of nowhere.
I can't remember who you said last year, Tom, but I reckon you nailed it from memory.
Oh. Was it like an Atkins or something? No, who was off left?
Maybe it was
Not Rackens.
Well, I could have picked Himmelberg, but he hasn't been picked yet. I'm surprised by that.
Dragon. Are you calling him Dragon over there? That's his nickname.
Is there a story there?
No,
really?
well, that's just his nickname. His
apparently.
self-imposed nickname.
Always
I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Really? You can't pick your own nickname.
I think he said he had to come up with a nickname, and he said Dragon.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's poor.
No, it's
Okay.
funny.
Is it? Yeah.
He was trying to fire himself up. Come on.
Okay.
But anyway,
Worked well.
who have you got for us, Tom? Who do you think it's going to be? I think there's a few nominees.
Yeah, no, I've got Ben Long. I've got Longy this week. I reckon he's the one that's going to hopefully to do the job for us. I reckon sort of each week I think he sort of pops in every now and again and surprises me each week, but he brings the heat. So I'm backing him in to kick 3 important goals, I reckon, for the Suns.
I was thinking about it in the car today, and that's exactly who I thought of. Watching him on the weekend, he's the type of player that just come in and kick 4.
Who do you have, Ben?
Would a Joel Jeffrey be a similar sort of vein?
Definitely.
Tom?
Definitely. Yeah.
So,
Wasn't sure you talking about. Yeah, no, I agree completely. I think he's actually been better, his pressure. And I thought he was one that maybe we're giving games too early. I thought, oh, is there a future there? And like most, proves me wrong and I shut up. So the coaches do the job. But yeah, he's been actually outstanding this year as well.
That's what you want as a supporter there. You want to be proven wrong. I think Bailey Humphrey for me is probably one that could stand up and kick it.
He played all right on the weekend.
Yeah.
his pedigree is a little bit solid for an Armfield.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We
shot that down
and,
pretty quick there.
You did.
Better suggestion next time, Dan.
Yeah. I'll just shut up.
On your team lineup, it had Connor Buderick at centre forward. Is he playing forward or defence?
Well, he was playing back on the weekend. Not sure why.
Okay, so the lineup might have been a little bit untruthful.
Yeah, probably might have been just some mind games that started. Brody Hewlin actually lined up at centre half back though. He's sort of not too tall and good young defender, but pretty small centre half back.
Yeah, Bodie's got a brother coming through, doesn't he, next year? Who's apparently pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think the younger, is it Zeke Hewlin?
Zeke, yeah.
Well, keep these academies. All about these academies. Keep them up.
Yeah.
That's great. There for the comp. It's brilliant. Happy.
Well,
and do you think with it being a little bit more humid and possibly slippery, do you think we're going to struggle with our taller forward line? Do you think that won't be such a factor that will go our way?
I think what's the game's it's a midday game, isn't it?
It is, at least it's not a night game, so it's not as
I think actually you guys would adapt pretty quickly. But yeah, it actually is a bit of a factor when you go up to the humid or even the humid coming down to the southern states. It's sort of really dry on the mouth and everything, the colder temps. But I think this time of year and a middle of the day game probably won't be too bad for the Crows. Unfortunately for us, I don't think it'll be too bad for your lot.
Good.
Yeah, I think across the board, the Suns match up a lot better with the Crows than the teams we've played so far. We both we're on a similar pegging. I think it's going to be interesting. What do you see happening, Tom? What's your tip? Who do you think will win and by how much?
I really, really want to say the Suns. I want to say we're a chance.
You should do it.
Yeah, well, I'll back us in there, but I think it's going to be 2 kicks either way. I don't think any team's winning by more than 10 to 15 points. So I'll say us by 10 points. Yeah. I think it's going to be close.
It's going to be a tough one for
definitely, yeah, I agree. Tom, thank you so much for coming on Here We Crow again. We love to have you in and hopefully we'll have you on again in the future. Let's hope the Suns have a great season, but just not this weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
see you at the GF, Tom.
See ya. GF. Book those tickets.
Cool do.
All right, thanks, mate.
Thanks, Tom.
Cheers, legend.
Oh, my
love having
God.
Tom on.
Yeah, Tom was great, but my God.
Sorry, that was messy.
That was very messy.
Yeah.
So that audio must
be
be
Do you want to apologise to everybody?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It's your fault, Sam.
You put it somewhere.
I can't see it. It's not there.
Yeah,
like
you put it somewhere.
I don't know where it is.
Just
it's
like
so
to say,
strange.
I think these transition
We'll have to sort it
screens
out
are
when we're
working
not
a treat.
live. I'll sort it out later.
Yeah, we need to fix it. I think we just take the audio off and do it here.
Yeah, it's your
maybe.
segment.
Yeah, is it? Oh, my God.
Yeah. No one knows what you're doing except you, Sam.
Sorry.
If you want to know what's in the spring, get into Rowan Jarman.
Do you know I don't really have any bads?
Is it
I know
you?
this is goods, but I don't really have any
When
bads.
do you not have any bads?
No, I don't know. I've had a pretty good week.
Wow.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say
boring.
windy weather when you're trying to cook a spit?
Oh, I'm not on the bads yet.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Can we talk about that spit when
Yeah.
you go? Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
I just want
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
to have some words.
Goods things.
Yep.
I've only got 2. I'm just going to bring up Kane and Kingy on SENs on Mondays and Fridays.
Ooh,
again.
Kane in the goods.
I genuinely think it's the best footy commentary thing in the public sphere that there is.
Yeah,
It's funny.
I actually honestly agree because even though Kane's a knob most of the time,
Yeah.
he does know football.
Yeah.
And to be honest, most of what he says is legit.
Yeah.
And who are the other fucking dipshits we have to listen to?
Yeah, that's true.
Out of all of them, it's pretty much Kane, Kingy, and Jimmy Bartell.
You know the barrel is.
who else is there really?
You know at the bottom of the barrel when they're the good ones.
Yeah.
That's.
But
something.
they've just got a bit of a it's not just them just talking football. They've kind of got this bit of a shtick about them now where they just talk shit as well. There's just this. It's quite entertaining. I highly recommend no one listening to it live and just listening to the podcast, so you don't have to sit through the ads and stuff. So it's usually like a 2-hour podcast, and you just put it on in the car, and usually is out like an hour after they finished or something like that.
Yeah.
Highly recommend listening to it that way because the ads are disgusting.
What's the show called?
They call it Fireball.
Oh, yeah.
It's only on Mondays and Friday mornings. But they've been, someone had a crack. Remember Tommy Sheridan? Used to play for Freo, had a crack at Kane on his podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And Kane has just absolutely clapped back at him in there.
Oh, well, Tommy reckons he's coming back.
Oh, does he?
He's returning
Oh,
serve.
right, okay.
And I actually
press
commented on the video and I was like, mate, you've been corned.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you've got no fucking chance here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And they just keep playing that audio of Bruce after he dropped the mark in the final. It's so good. Anyway, you might not like it. It might not be for you, but there is something very funny about that radio setup. But the best thing that happened was Saka winning the cricket final
Very good.
on the weekend. So
Close too.
it was very close. Yeah, it was a pretty amazing run chase. Really, they looked in a bit of trouble early when they were 3 down for not much, and then Carey and Sanger got the job done pretty much.
Fairy tale ending.
Yeah, so we haven't won it in 29 years or something. And the scenes after the game where everybody ran onto the field was pretty special. So, well done to them.
Is it a takeaway a little bit that 9 of the squad are interstate players?
Not really.
I think to me, it sort of shows that ground roots, is that the word?
Grassroots?
Grassroots, yeah.
You should know that, Ben.
Ben's backyard. Wow, your Ben's backyard credentials have gone down.
No, my using analogies. Or
Tell us more about deciduous trees.
Grassroots cricket, I think, isn't necessarily showing that South Australia is particularly strong. It's more that we've attracted players who couldn't make the first 11 in opposition.
And turned them into a Shield-winning team, Ben. So just celebrate it.
Development.
Footwear sacrificed at half price and equipment slashed to half price. Rowan Jarman's huge half price sale. Don't miss it.
Do you actually not have any bad? Because I want to tell a story.
No, you can do it.
All right,
Yeah.
well, I just want to set the scene, and this starts off as a good, and it mainly ends as a good as well, but there's a bit of in between.
Sounds like a pretty bad.
Sounds like a recommended retail
That
price.
does sound like a recommended retail, Dan.
Well, there's a bit of meat in the sandwich, and that's a pun intended, that needs to be talked about as a bad, maybe. I'll ask you a question
Right,
first.
get on
Sam.
with it.
All right, so setting the scene, Sam's lovely partner Lizzie had her 31st and their daughter Maggie May's first birthday, Lord of the Rings theme party. I'm not sure if Maggie May signed off on that theme.
No, she definitely didn't, and she won't in the future.
Yeah, just want to question that. That's not a bad though. The bad's coming. So this is it's like going. Has anyone ever been to Medieval Festival? You don't need to answer that. If you have been, you walk in.
No one's going to admit that.
And there's people dressed in Lord of the Rings style garb, like chainmail and all this kind of stuff, and they do things like
And then there
wrestling
was you.
and they drink spiced mead. No, I'm not the bad actually. I should be. I probably should be. For those playing at home, I went dressed as Lord instead of Lord.
The indie rock singer.
Yeah.
The singer Lord, who
It's indie pop.
He walked in with lipstick and long black hair.
who Randy Marsh dressed up as in South Park, just to clarify. Anyway, that was what. That's not the point. So the point is, it was like a mini medieval festival, complete with a lamb of the spit that was rotating. And we got there like, wow, Sam, you've gone all out. Now, a question for you, Sam.
Yes, Daniel.
Bar having that lamb on the spit turning and cooking the whole time, had you thought about what happens after that?
No.
That is the bad people.
I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and none of them seem to delve into what to do after the lamb is cooked. Well, somewhat cooked.
So this lovely lamb is just rotating. The food comes out. Everyone's got salad on their plates. They're like ready for this lamb to be carved and put on, and no one's doing it. It's like, what's going on?
Didn't you get yourself an electric knife?
No, I got asked whether I had an electric knife. But even
So
if
you
I had
got
an
a whole spit roast
Yeah.
and you didn't know what to do with it.
Nope. No idea.
The cooking process was somewhat, challenged by that wind.
Yeah, I blame the
So
wind
then-
more than anything.
So then young Ben is just standing by the lamb.
Very young.
By the lamb, and because a 6 foot whatever he is man standing by the lamb with tongs or whatever he had in his hand, people are assuming that Ben's going to start cutting the lamb, but Ben has not been asked to cut the lamb.
Well, Ben
so
in
then-
fairness, Ben didn't know what to do either.
So
I
then
was going to say that's why you invited Ben
Well, I didn't come to a party knowing there was a
to
spit.
carve the lamb.
So then, as the
And
night progresses,
I was obviously reticent to carve straight into that lamb. It's been cooking for a long time. That needs a resting period.
yeah. So as the night progresses, people just start hacking at this lamb.
Yeah.
Sorry to any of the vegetarian or vegan listeners we have. I should have given you a warning at the start.
What we did get off was quite tasty.
Yeah, I mean, it tasted fine, but it was kind of like, you know,
So you
piecemeal.
didn't just pull up a YouTube video to
pieces of
tell
meat.
you
There
how
was
to carve the
none.
lamb?
No, there was nothing that showed you how to carve it. Like I couldn't. Every like spit video I watched, sort of just
I think you pretty much do just hack
You looked
it
up the
off.
wrong spit videos, mate.
obviously.
Anyway,
that wasn't Google.
anyway, so by the end of the night, there was just this poor lamb just getting ripped apart, and that was the part of the bad. But the goods were that the party was great, the lamb was good, and yeah, pretty much just to defend you, Sam.
Thank you.
That was exactly what I would have done.
That's a good whiskey too.
Yeah,
Thanks,
great
Noah.
whiskey.
Not that he would be listening to
We
this.
ended on
but
some great whiskey
Yeah.
from a Western Bulldogs fan.
Yeah, it
nonetheless.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my segment done, really. But yeah, the party was good.
Great.
Yeah. All right. I think we're going to get
I'm
into
so
some.
glad I wasn't there. I would have been just hating that whole lamb suck. Would have
Well,
been
you
like,
got to live through.
Where's
you
your
got to-
knife, you idiot?
You got to live through the story.
I did decide
Quirky's
that
shocked.
I don't. People might disagree with this, but I just don't think spits are the way to go. I think cooking meat.
It has to be a very like optimal weather because you're right because the weather does fuck it up.
Oh, the wind killed it.
Well, my mate Ted, who I gave the tickets to for the game on the weekend, when he got married, him and his wife, they had their wedding at Amy, his partner's parents' house in Onkaparinga Hills. So it's like, and it was the hottest day of the summer. It was 42 degrees, and they had lamb on a spit as well. But they had it down. They had it at the house, and the ceremony was in this giant like glamping tent thing on the property. So the people were like cooking the lamb down at the house, and at one point the flames were so high it was licking the shed, like the garage roof, and we were like, we thought they were going to like set the house on fire, so they had to pull the thing out. But there's dry grass everywhere,
Yeah, right.
and in the end, it was only half cooked. It actually was mostly raw. Like
Right.
it just really did not pan out
So just
well at
charred
all.
on the outside and
Yeah.
nothing in the middle.
It was bad.
I'm
It
just
was
going to
not
go
good.
down the smoker route. I think smoking meats is the way to go.
I think that's probably best.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
But
we
good
tried
try.
it. Yeah, we
Yeah,
tried
good
it.
try.
We did it
I mean,
so you
it's,
don't have
it's
to. everyone.
relevant to the theme.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Should we get into some Sandful chat? Have we got? Can we get Nuz on the line?
yeah,
Is that
let's
is
get
it
Nuz.
too?
Oh yeah, I forgot to turn the phone off. Nuz, ring right now.
Nuz. if
Can you
you're
do a
here.
rap?
I'll do it when Nuz is on the line, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, he'll appreciate that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure as well. A Sandful game happened, and Nuz has a good intel. Oh, here he comes.
It's so bad.
Nuz, we are going to prepare a stinger for this segment, but we haven't yet. So all we're going to do is like some crap rap, which is going to be like, when I say San, you say full. San.
Full.
San.
Full.
Thank you.
I like it.
It's so bad.
Full. How are you, Nuz?
Oh, very good. Yeah, just excited that South Australia won their first Shield final in 29 years.
Amazing.
And a reminder to people that the last time we did that, of course, we won the flag the very next year. But also saying that the same year that we won the Sheffield Shield last time, we were also 3-0, and then we ended up the season with 8 wins. So, so who knows? Who knows? History can repeat, but no, I've just been very excited that we're in a winning form. SANFL's back, Shield cricket, it's all happening. But I'm here to talk about the SANFL, of course.
You are.
'cause,
But Nuz, before you do that, you got to give us your votes for the North Melbourne game.
I did in the chat.
Did you?
What was it? Fucking
I
hell.
missed
You on the spot. What was it? Saligo 3,
Yep.
Rankin 2,
Yep.
and you won't believe it, but Laird 1.
Hey,
Whoa.
Lele.
I'm back on the Laird wagon.
Was that a sympathy vote for his 250th, Nuz?
Oh, come on.
Maybe 10%. Maybe.
And was there a
No,
quiet?
he did do very well. Look, 100 metres gained, but I still was happy overall. Like, he seemed to be in the right spots, and he didn't make any bad decisions. He just could have been a bit more attacking. He didn't stuff it up, which is what we want. So,
Exactly.
And who's your quiet achiever there, Nuz? Been dying to know.
well, is it Dan Curtin? Because he's been getting better and better each week. So, I mean, I can say Curtin. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
just
you can
stick
say
with
it.
Curtin.
Most of us did.
Yeah,
Yep.
three
I mean, every
other people did. So
I feel like every week it's going to be Dan Curtin. Like
Yeah.
he'll just get, until he gets 30 possessions and 4 goals one week, and we're like, oh, wait a minute.
Then
he's
he'll
there.
just get Sam's 4th vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he will end up in the votes at some point for sure.
No, it's just amazing watching all these good quality top 10 kids. Who would have thought that drafting good talent high up in the draft would actually pay dividends, right?
No, it's amazing.
Definitely not Fisher Mackesy.
Far out. I don't want to get into that.
Come on, dear.
Hey, but speaking of that, I will actually address Fisher Mackesy because I'm going to do a podcast.
Good segue.
Yeah, I know. I love it. Yeah, into segue. I'm going to do a podcast for next week, and I'll be doing a lot of rehashing of the draft, list management talk, and everything else, and that will be under the Here We Crow banner. So anyone who's out there listening, look out for next week. I'll do a solo podcast and talk about random bullshit stats that only the nuffies want to hear. So
Yes,
yeah.
we love it.
Tune in.
Speaking of bullshit stats, I have SANFL stuff.
Yes.
Well, I don't know where to start. Did you want to list off some names and I'll quickly have a synopsis about how they played or what?
Chase Jones.
Honestly, he was terrible. He really was. He did one good thing. He got 10 touches, just looked completely out of sorts. He looked a pace behind. Look, it's his first game back from a shoulder, but if this is the Chase Jones we're expecting, we need to trade and or delist because that was as terrible a performance as I've seen. So, look, first week back from injury, let's hope he comes back better next week.
Yeah, I had heard that. That's why I asked straight away. And the other one was Jordan Butts. I also heard wasn't great.
Yeah, wasn't horrible, but definitely I can see why they picked ball ace. Just looks a bit raw at the moment, but did a couple of nice things and wasn't beaten. But it was hard to gauge because the ball barely went down there. To be fair, and West Adelaide's delivery into 50 was terrible. It really was. The wind didn't help. But one thing I did like is that we never blasted the ball away unless it was a one-on-one in the square, and we really lowered our eyes. You can notice that we're doing like a lot in the AFL team, but it's good to see the kids taking that advice on board too. So a lot of really tight entries into the forward 50.
Nice. And on a slightly more positive note than Dan there, Nankervis sounds like he had quite the game.
Yeah, started very slowly, a couple of mistakes, but he just got better and better while everyone else kind of stayed the same malaise as they did in round one. You can tell that with his running patterns and what he did around the ground to get into the right spots and read the play, he's just a class above. Like, he should be playing AFL. And this is what happens when you have lack of injuries. He'd be playing for 16 of the 18 clubs right now. He's just class above, easily best on ground by a country mile. So just did everything right. And even when he went forward, he was really explosive and had good goal sense too. So, he'd be the perfect sub in one sense because he can just go anywhere, wherever it's required. He did have an all-round great game.
And one player who got his own little write-up in the 5 things to take out from the game in Murphy, but he wasn't put in the best. So was he a bit sloppy with what he did, but he just did a lot of it?
He was a bit sloppy. I love that AFC. They always have to write about Murphy and Smith, don't they? I don't know what the fuck. Like, is there some sort of hidden agreement? Anyway, he wasn't awful, but when he got 26 touches, he had quite a few tackling. I will admit that his tackling was very good and his forward pressure, but that's what he's known for. That's what he's there for. He played the extra outside of the stoppage, kind of like he does in the AFL. It's the same role, bit part midfielder, mainly half-forward flank. Some of his disposal was pretty ordinary, it's fair to say. Didn't get on the goal card again, but was playing, kicking inside 50. He had 7 inside 50s, and only a few of those hit the target. But it wasn't bad, but we can do better. And I want to segue again into another person who was on the forward flank who did impress me, and that was Zach Taylor. So he got as many tackles as Murphy. He got 6 tackles as well, but he also got 5 clearances, just like Murphy. He got 2 goals won, though. So what he did was he read the play a bit better to create and present up towards more forward pocket regions. So that's something that we've seen Zach Taylor do quite well, is hit the scoreboard. And that's what Murphy really has struggled to do his entire career as a small forward, which is, I mean, I would have thought that's a pretty big metric to have, is kicking goals as a small forward. But, you know, what do I know?
Could he fill a Rochelle-sized hole, possibly?
Absolutely, he could.
Depends.
I don't know if he's. I don't know. Up there, this is where I think if it was at home against a weaker opposition, I would put Taylor in, but I can absolutely see them putting a Murphy in because he's got, you know, AFL hardened body. It's going to be a tough slog, 12.50 on a Saturday up in Queensland. So, no, I can see them picking Murphy, which isn't the worst thing. Yeah.
I think we can all see it coming.
Yeah,
you can see it coming.
Yeah.
It's been foreshadowed by the 5 things you need to know article. So,
yeah, exactly. Well, sorry, mate, the article seeds all. But the main forward pocket, who isn't actually on our list, but on the SANFL team, is Blake Drury, who got 2-4. And if it wasn't windy conditions, he would have kicked 4-2 with 20 touches and was easily one of our best forwards of the day and just looked like you could tell he's from an AFL list. He looked a class above. I don't know if that will translate into forward pocket, but if he keeps this consistent form up, you never know. He could be in for a mid-season draft pick because I can't see him going in the first 10. Yeah. But I just want to mention someone about mid-season draft. There is a kid for West Adelaide called Keough Ryan, and I've been speaking about him on my pod for years. He's only 21, just turned 21, and he was giving us all sorts of grief. He got 28 touches, but he did everything. He chased down AFL seasoned players like Pedler and Berry and Schonberg. He created play. He just looked like he should be playing AFL. He would be a perfect half-forward flanker type. He can get a goal, and I don't know, I just think, look out for Keough Ryan, any SANFL fans out there. I'd be surprised if he wasn't picked up in the mid-season draft with this kind of form. So he had a very good game. I'll quickly finish off. Sam Berry was, I'd say, average, found a lot of the ball, got 2 goals, but some of his disposal was a bit off. So hopefully he can continue getting 22 touches but better quality. Schonberg was very good, but again, his disposal let it down on occasion. So Schonberg would have been second or third best on ground. Brodie Smith wasn't bad, but the opposition, again, didn't put up much. And I just want to mention one play by Oscar Ryan, player of the day, 100-metre play. He sprinted between 2 Westies players, literally between 2 players, and laced out Toby Murray after running 30 metres and at full pelt. Could not have seen a better highlight in AFL. It was fantastic. Just didn't get enough of the ball. But the player who did get quite a bit of the ball at half-back flank, in my opinion, the unsung hero down there, Charlie Edwards.
Interesting. He's coming into the position, isn't he?
Very nice. Really good intercept marking. Took about 3 or 4 really good high-pressure marks back there in packs. 21 touches and really good run and drive and carry through half-back. And a lot of his plays, you could see him wanting to create. And something that, you know, we see someone like Mitch Hinge do it, but a lot of our defenders don't really like that run and carry. And Charlie Edwards is definitely one of them. But an awesome thing about Charlie is that he's not only quick enough to be able to do that type of play, but he's also 191, 192 centimetres.
Yeah, I was going to ask what height he was. Yeah.
So he can almost play that Michael Laney type role if Michael Laney ends up playing midfield or higher up the ground. So I can see Edwards making his debut today, this year. And then one more shout out quickly to Lockie McAndrew, who didn't have much contest because the ruckman for Westies is pretty short, but his tap work is really good.
Yeah. Awesome. Really good review there, Nuz.
Yeah. I think the 2 that I really want to see succeed this year are Charlie Edwards and Oscar Ryan.
Yeah,
they're
I'd
the
love
2.
to see them both.
They're the ones that I'm going to be keeping an eye on every week if I'm watching the sample because, I don't know, they just seem like the ones that have the most promise that aren't, well, we haven't even tried, have we?
No, not yet.
We wouldn't have tried yet. So, yeah.
No. I was disappointed we didn't give Ryan a shot. Like we had a chance to last year in the very last game, if you remember. We should have just done it, but long way to go. Don't forget, these kids are still only 19 or just turned 20, so they're very, very young.
Yeah.
So I wasn't there's a long way to go, but I can definitely see Edwards making his debut this year. He's physically he's ready for AFL, the rigors of AFL. A bit disappointed in Luke Pedlar's game. He played a lot of midfield, like he was our third midfielder, and he just didn't get enough of the ball and was beaten around stoppage. He was better on the defensive end, but he lacked awareness where to stand a lot around stoppage. So he had a bit of a disappointing game. But it's interesting to see him play midfield. I would have thought that if he'd have a chance in AFL, it would be playing higher up the ground as a half forward type. So interesting to see that, SANFL are putting him in the midfield.
Yeah, you wouldn't think he's getting a gig in our A's midfield.
He seems to be in no man's land at the moment. I'm a bit worried
I've
about where he's
pretty
heading.
much written him off, I think.
Yeah, I'm thinking that as well. It's a shame, but, I'll discuss the Pedlar drafting, of course, in my upcoming podcast. Look, if I haven't mentioned anyone else, there's probably good reason. Ned Atkinson, who's on the SANFL, not on our list, he's son of Brodie. He played really well for his first SANFL outing, so he's someone who's going to get better and better. Maybe a smoky for a mid-season draft prospect as well. Sort of played everywhere around the ground. But overall, the opposition was pretty poor, it's fair to say.
Yeah.
And I think we play North Adelaide next week. I've got a feeling. We'll have a look at it now. Where are we? Round 2. Yeah, we do. And, of course, they annihilated Norwood. So it's going to be a really good matchup and a good, solid game. It's going to be a bit wet as well. So it's going to be good to see who stands up against better opposition.
Yeah, nice.
Indeed.
All right, Nuz, well, thanks for dialing in to give us that great update. And everyone tune in for Nuz's special spin-off episode next week.
Just quickly, Nuz, are we winning this week?
Against the Gulf. I can see it happening. I watched the mini game of the Melbourne versus Gold Coast, and as well as Gold Coast played, Melbourne really were that bad. They just did not run. They were just awful, Melbourne.
They were so bad.
And just
something's
slow.
rotten at that club.
Did you
There
see?
has been.
Yeah.
Did you see the footage that Kingy put up on First Crack last night?
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Terrible.
Like that was, but you could see it on the ground, because you'd see them kicking from half back to half forward, and it'd be like in the screen there'd be like 7 Gold Coast players and 2 Melbourne players, and you're thinking, what's going on?
Yeah.
They just seem
Just
rife.
terrible.
They just seem rife with personal issues, Melbourne.
Well, they should have traded someone last year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Aren't we lucky we dodged the Harry Petty bullet?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Louise.
Yeah,
definitely.
there's a few. We've had a few of them over the last couple of years.
Yes,
Paul Francis.
Winning by default.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly.
Default. All right. Thanks again, Nuz. We'll speak to you soon.
Stay sensible.
Absolutely. See you guys.
Thanks,
mate.
Nuz.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shall we get into a bit of social media / Bozza's sauna?
Yeah, what do you want to do first?
Oh,
Because it's different.
let's chuck it to Boz.
Chuck it. Oh, is this going to work? Let's see.
I'm worried about your screen
Yeah,
things now.
It's like a sauna in here.
Evening, people. It's round 4 selections from the sauna. We had no changes last week and my selections didn't come through, so didn't really matter in the end, did it? I said a 50-point win, so 6-goal win. Good enough. We'll take it. Yet to watch the whole game, so can't really comment. A lot of water to go under the bridge when you do selections on a Monday. Injuries, main training, etc., etc. So just a guess really at this point. But Rash out for 4 to 6. That's absolutely shit house. It's probably going to be 2 months. Let's be honest with ribs. One of about 6 could come in, depending on what he wants to do. Safety Nix is going to bring 4 straight back in out of the shop, and that's about $1.19 at the moment. But I would be rocking Rolf Pedlar into that role and bringing Nank in, and probably giving Draper a full game in the SNFL. if we want his development to come along in the midfield nicely, he's either got to get a full game in the AFL or the SANFL this week, because 3 and a bit quarters is probably not enough footy for a month. Sounds like Nixie's going to rest the King Tex this week, so that's almost going to guarantee that he's going to roll with 4 for an extra bit of experience. But personally, I'll be Nank and Rolf in, Tex and Rochelle out. Thanks, guys. Speak to you next week. Evening, people. It's round 4 selections from the sauna.
This is good. Meant this bit.
Out of bounds on the
Before
ball.
we get into social media, I was going to continue the selection chat talk for a second because, some interesting, I guess it comes from social media, so I can kind of, segue that into it. Third segue mentioned for the episode. But, there's been a bit of talk. Obviously, it seems pretty obvious and likely that Murphy will come in for Rochelle. I can't see them, as much as my choice would be Zach Taylor, but I just can't see it happening. Would love it if it did. But I think that point that Boz just made about if Tex is out and adding that bit of extra experience, that's totally the line will toe.
If it's Tex out, is that just set up for a revenge game for Burgess?
Maybe. Doubtful.
Okay, fair enough.
But outside of that, the obvious, the Rochelle replacement, that Draper call's not bad as well. Like, if they're not going to give him a full game in the AFL, is it time to give him a full game in the SANFL so he gets a full game? I don't know. I think he's probably earned a full game at AFL level at this point. So
Yeah.
we go at that. And then, the next question, Nank obviously would love to see him come in, but who goes out if Nank comes in? The question, I guess the people on social media are talking about either Isaac coming and running Nank more off the wing, or Miller after his game on the weekend. And can you see either of them happening?
No.
No, I just don't. I don't know whether, like, Nank's obviously playing really well in the SANFL, or played very well in the SANFL, and Cummings not getting a ton of the ball in the A's, but I don't know whether Nank gives us more than Cumming is at the moment. I'm not saying that I wouldn't ever do it, but I don't think just now that's the move I'd make. But yeah,
I think the fact that they're like kind of rotating Curtin on that wing as well probably doesn't help things. I think Nank is definitely beating the door down. So it just...
I'd love to see him in the side.
I want him in there, but I just can't really see that happening.
Yeah,
do you know what's
I do agree. Yeah.
Interestingly enough, Isaac Rankin had the most CBAs he's had for the team this... he had 70% CBAs or something like that this week. And you would think that ultimately what they could do, if it was any other team, you would bring Draper in and just put Isaac forward instead of Rash. But I think just because it is Gold Coast and they're doing so well and they've got that huge midfield, like, they're not going to risk that. They're going to keep Rankin in the midfield.
Yeah, I think they have to.
We need to throw some weapons at their midfield instead of just trying to quell what they can do.
Yeah.
So.
So I think if it was any other scenario, that's what would happen. But for Gold Coast, that's just not going to happen. So I think, it's going to be Murphy, or at a pinch, probably Taylor. But, it is what it is.
It'll
I think we all saw
definitely
this
be
coming.
My guess is still that Nank will be the sub and Draper will get a full game, is my guess.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think that works. And they don't have, like...
Draper can still play a midfield forward sort of role.
Yeah.
But
I think it's just because obviously Josh is that kind of small forward, whereas he's like quite a bit bigger than him. But I don't really know. I'm not really down with the matchups of Gold Coast and how that's going to work. Yeah. So I trust Ben.
I think the shuffle we can shuffle and make that work. Rankin.
Well, they've talked about versatility all pre-season about how everyone can sort of fill a void. So
cover small forwards with them and Keys. I would have thought.
Yeah,
make it work.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do.
Keys is the other one we always forget.
And
he's just there. He's just running.
Yeah. He's still running now.
Did you see that Terminator chase down he did as well?
Yeah. Tex will be interesting to see because I think we do have a couple of shorter breaks because we've got straight after this we go into the Thursday game against Geelong. So
that is the other thing. We've got a very, very, very short break.
I'll bring him back for that.
Will we keep Tex at home and then just leave him for the gather round game?
I reckon.
And then what does our forward line look like? Does that mean Curtin plays a bit more up forward?
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah, be interesting.
Right. Get into some actual social media.
Yeah, just before we get into anything else, Lauren might have Jaden send us some messages. He was complaining about the commentary around the Rochelle injury as well. I won't go into more details on that because we've delved into that pretty well. But he said
it wasn't just that as well. It was like the one where Fogarty got pushed into Cherry and hurt his wrist or something or other. And again, my man Jared Healy's like, some self-inflicted pain for Fogarty trying to take on the big ruckman there. And he was pushed into the contest. And it's like,
Ben's really got it in for Jared.
Well, he's been like this for a very long time. So
maybe we need to get him on.
He gets right up my goat.
Yes, he does. I can tell. Jaden said, Hinge was awesome, set a lot of our attack up via the slingshot from half back. The defence seemed composed and under control all day long. I never felt scared when the Roos went forward. Always felt like the defence would handle it. Thought the midfield lowered their colours in the second and third quarters. LDU and a couple of other Roos got a hold of us there before we took control back in the fourth. Loved the attack on the ball. If any kick hung in the air, the boys were pouncing on it and getting a fist in from behind or from the side. There was clear, you're not getting anything easy today vibe from the team. Best players in no order, Hinge, Rankin, Peatling.
Yeah, that's almost what I had.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that was good.
No, don't ask me about social media because I didn't get anything.
Oh, we didn't get anything?
No.
No, didn't put anything up on Instagram?
I thought I saw something.
Well, you're leaving it all up to me, and that's a terrible idea because I've got a job.
Yes. Maybe we need to get Ben to do it. He doesn't do anything else.
Yeah.
He's
just reading all the messages and then not letting us know about any of them.
Ben doesn't do anything else.
All right. Everyone look forward to Ben on socials next week.
All right. Just crank up your MySpace pages and we should be all right.
Oh, what do you mean? We got something from Dino.
I better be in your top 8, Ben.
What does Dino have to say?
Dino said, seeing finals, your flag faves next to the Hawks. It's a grand final or bust. We'll flag Crom this year. Every time he says Crom in there.
He just says that to piss us off.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Bozza said, lid on for the next 3, ladies and gentlemen, back in the hot box tonight. Nath said, this week is the big test, but the lid is ever so slightly ajar. And Zeno of Citium, Gilly the dog. Last year's debacle started off with the lid off. Essentially, that club, players and supporters don't fall into that trap this year.
Yeah, I don't want to hear lid talk.
I don't think we have. All I said in the tweet was it's hard to keep the lid on. It's getting difficult to keep the lid on.
Just don't mention
It's still on.
the L word.
The lid is on, people. Don't worry.
Is Ben going to mention the lid when he's doing social sticks?
Yeah, I think so.
The lid's a cult thing, and that's why they keep failing.
The lid is going to be firmly clasped on this week, I think.
You think?
I think realistically the next 3 weeks will give us a fair old idea of where we're actually at. We've got
I totally agree.
Gold Coast on the road, Geelong at home, GWS at home.
I'm saying if we win 2 out of 3 of that, book the September flights.
You know what I think? You know what I think that is, Lauren? I think that's a great segue into talking about this week's game. Ben, what have you got for us?
Are you on board with me here? If we win 2 out of 3 of those games, book the flights.
Booking flights seems a bit extravagant, but
get in the car.
Got to have money to get flights.
Road trip it is. So I think if we have a really good showing against, Gold Coast, so there's a lot of weird conditions up there. So that's always a bit of a strange game. But particularly, they are home games, but if we really make a statement against either Geelong or even probably more so GWS, I think GWS I reckon is the big game for us. If we really battle it out with them and even smoke them, then I'm getting not just cautiously optimistic, but moderately optimistic.
Whoa! Don't take it too far, Ben.
GWS also like playing us over here, so that's generally they're pretty good.
Yeah, and they'll have a point to prove after not getting over the line against Hawthorn. So
Tell us more about what you've got for this game.
Gold Coast, so their record very similar to us going into the game against North, really. They've smashed 2 pretty ordinary looking teams, West Coast and Melbourne, and we're kind of like their North Melbourne games. Like we were bottom 4 last year and looking like we might be okay. So it's their time to show that they're actually a team worth, what's Kane's got him as they could win it all, is that right? We're contenders, they could win it all. It's nothing like a bit of round 3 hype to get a bit carried away. Don't forget, Essendon have looked very good early in seasons.
A lot.
And they have done nothing. So this early form doesn't necessarily guarantee too much. But anyway, I've got the work laptop. I've got a very long password.
Oh, here we go.
Ben's just going to type his password back in.
Do we need some music?
Okay. We're back. It's a bit.
We're back.
They do like very convoluted passwords.
That was more seamless than Sam's stuff earlier.
Anyway, so they're very strong with contested possession. I think they're fourth in the comp. That's not differentials, but just how many they've had. They're bottom half for marks and kicks, but they're second for handballs. So they're sort of running, handballing, breaking through lines that way more than spotting up targets. So quite different to how we've played particularly our first two games. So it's two very different ways of playing the game. It'll be interesting to see what's more effective. Sam Collins has been intercepting well, so we're going to have to make sure that we spot up targets, don't just bomb it forwards. If we're bombing forward, we're probably going to lose.
Yeah.
I foresee this game potentially being a run of like one team kicks 5, then maybe another team kicks 3 or 4 back, and then big sways of momentum. So I just hope we can make the most of it when we get our chance with the momentum.
Yep.
Is my thoughts going in. That 2 weeks in a row, we've got another fancy high draft pick midfield that we're coming up against. Slippery conditions, but maybe not as slippery as previously if it's going to be in the middle of the day, so that probably helps. Still humid. We don't like humidity. Just think of that GWS game, round 1, the year before last, was it?
I'm trying to forget that, Ben, and it keeps rearing its ugly head.
So that'll test our fitness. And the other thing we've talked a little bit but not heaps about is someone like a Ben King. We've been worried a bit about our key defenders this year, and Ben King is someone who, if he gets on momentum, he can easily kick 5 or 6.
He was pretty good on the weekend.
Yeah, he kicked 4, could have kicked more.
Yeah, and set up a few too. He just seems to bring it down where he needs to.
He kicked him in pretty quick succession.
We can't let them have clean, easy kicks to him on the lead. Or one-on-one. So even one-on-one, I don't think at the moment we've got the form to deal with stopping him from marking without the umpires giving it a free kick.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All in all,
Are you saying we shouldn't put Miller on him? Like Miller ended up on Larky on the weekend?
How did that even happen? Honestly,
wouldn't be my first choice, no. But I think, I don't know, I'm actually a little bit concerned about this game. Probably my prediction, I've tipped wins all year. This one feels like a narrow loss to me. So I'm going to go with a 7-point loss.
Well, they have beaten us the last 4 times over there, if you include Darwin, as I did earlier.
Sort of over there.
It's more over there than here.
I don't know.
Might not be, actually.
Shut up, Sam!
Might get the map and a ruler out for that one.
Shut up. But the point was that away, they've beaten us 4 out of the last 6 times. And I think, what I was going to make a point of is that last year's we actually played pretty well. All in all, we only lost by a goal. So that's, the most recent one.
That would be rubbish, though, last year.
Yeah, but I mean, by and large, they had a similar list. So we'll see how we go. But I do share your worry. I think it does have a bit of narrow loss feel to it. However, it is a test, and it's one that hopefully we can stand up and show our true credentials. But on the other hand, we are going to lose a few games. Let's not kid ourselves. It's going to happen. So I think Suns will probably get us by about 9 points.
I hate to say that I agree with you. I like that we're confident and I like how we're playing, but I also feel like we're probably due for a loss. Now we're at, the odds are that we're probably not going to win 4 in a row. I really hope we do though. So prove me wrong, Crows. I just think we're probably coming up against a classier midfield who, they do have talent on every line, and it's going to be a really hard slog for us up there. So I'd say if it was at home, might pip them, but up there, probably not. So I'm okay with it, honestly. As long as we play competitive footy, I'm all right with
you wouldn't want
losing
to see
one.
us get blown away.
No, not at all. I'll be devastated if that happens, and then we'll be in a spiral. We'll be in a downward spiral if that happens.
It'll show that vulnerability, won't it, that we just don't want to see, I think.
But I'm okay with losing one for now. But as I said, if we win this one. We've got to win the next two. We have to. Let's go, Crows.
5-goal win.
Ooh.
5-goal win.
You're all
To
wrong.
who? Crows.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
tell us
I'm with.
more,
Like,
Sam.
I want to be with you.
How do you think we're going to get that?
I just don't think that. I don't think Gold Coast have played much. I know we've been. We've probably maybe underrated our season so far because of who we've played too. But you could argue that like North beat Melbourne as well last week. So
True.
there's a little bit of form to work back over. I know we're going up there, which is maybe not ideal. If it was in Adelaide, I think we'd all be tipping Adelaide. But I don't know. I just still think we'll win this game.
Cool.
I like your confidence, Sam, because it's not really there a lot of the time.
It's not.
Yeah, I like it as well. What I will say is I'm not going to mention the L word, but if we do pull off a win against Gold Coast, and I'm pretty confident we can beat Geelong and gather around.
Yeah.
Then it's going to start getting exciting.
Yeah.
So it's a big game. Let's see what happens.
I just want to point out that so far we are 3-0, so we've won 3 games. We're only 13 wins away from my prediction of 16 wins.
That's true.
So just keep that in mind, guys.
Only.
Yeah, Billy Four Eyes said Gold Coast beat Melbourne by 10 goals. North did the same. We beat North by 6 goals, therefore.
Well,
It never
the
works,
maths
does it?
works, doesn't it?
And Kate said Sam is Mr. Positivity tonight. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm freaking me
Yeah,
out.
he didn't even have bads in his bad segment.
Yeah, I know.
He didn't even ask us for any either. He was just like, no, I refuse to have any bads today.
Dan just put me in the bads again.
And you're going in it again next time as well. No, I'll be kind to you, Sam.
Thank you, mate.
Well, thanks everyone in the chat for being here for episode 113. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Dan.
Have I forgotten anything, Lauren?
Don't think so. Don't forget you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/herewecrow and also get around the merch. And if you've got some merch ideas that you want to see, can you just let us know, because I will attempt to make it. Like any catchphrases, players you want to see on merch, throw them at us and I will try and make something.
Sorry, Billy Four Eyes also brought up a very good point in here, saying
yeah?
there's something I thought of in the car today and didn't have the chance to write it down, was that, we only lost by a goal last year with a much worse team. You could argue they might be a bit
Yeah, well, that was
fired up.
Ben's argument.
Oh, did you say that, did you? I wasn't listening when you talked.
much like what's happening right now for me. So.
On that note, I think it's bedtime for Sam and Ben. So everybody have a great Monday night. Let's hope the Crows can pull out a win on the weekend, but we'll all be there watching it.
4 on the trot. Oh, and by the way, if we win if we win the first quarter of the Gold Coast game, we've broken the record of most won quarters. Ever.
Yes, so we've just got to win that first one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, and the only other last thing, I'm sure there's many people who have been wondering this question. I've got my trees.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh,
All right. Well,
Thank
can we hear
God.
more about that next week in your own segment?
If
when are the
people would
leaves
like
going to
hear
start
it.
falling off?
Well, the
minute.
lipstick maple is turning a beautiful red at the moment.
Oh, gorgeous.
There you
You have
go.
to send some photos.
On that note,
right after this recording, you'll be barraged with photos. Don't you worry.
I already closed the show, guys. So good night.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Another team's enough. Another team's enough. Another team's enough. Enough is enough.